Welcome to the deep dive. We're not just, chasing the latest trends here. We're really seeking those core truths that can fundamentally change your path as an entrepreneur. Today, we're zeroing in on something absolutely foundational, crafting offers that people just can't refuse. We're diving deep into Alex Hormozi's 100-meter offers, but not just a casual skim read. Think of this as a crucible, really, for those of us already in the trenches, ready to move beyond small wins and unlock some serious exponential growth. This isn't about surface tactics. It's more like a paradigm shift.
Absolutely. The entrepreneurial world is just flooded with tactical advice, endless hacks, but the real breakthroughs, the ones that build something lasting, something with real impact, they don't come from quick fixes. They come from, well, a much deeper understanding, almost a philosophy, really, the psychology behind the value you offer the world. And Alex Hormozi, he's someone who's truly walked that path. He delivers these razor-sharp truths, forged in actual struggle, Not just theory. His work isn't trying to impress you. It's there to deliver principles that actually work. Proven stuff.
That's a really key distinction, isn't it? Moving from tactics to philosophy. And for those of us genuinely looking for more than just, say, acquiring more customers, for those seeking real transformation, for our clients, our teams, ourselves, this feels urgent. So let's unpack this. How does Alex's concept of a Grand Slam offer really act as the fulcrum for that kind of exponential leap, instead of just, incremental improvements that can feel like running faster on the same hamster wheel?
Yeah, well, to really get the power of the Grand Slam offer, you have to understand where Hormozi himself forged it. Like I said, this wasn't some intellectual exercise in a comfortable office. It was born out of pure, desperate necessity. Picture this. Christmas Eve, 2016. He's hit absolute rock bottom. We're talking $1,036 in his bank account, buried under $22,000 in commissions he owed people. A huge $120,000 deal just evaporated. Add to that, a partner stole money from him. His mother was in critical condition after a terrible accident. His car was totaled. And he got a DUI. I mean, just this perfect storm of disaster. And that forced him to face a core truth. An offer can't just be good, it has to be a game changer. It's a survival mechanism, really. So that low point, it really highlights that this isn't some optional strategy. For entrepreneurs in the arena facing real stakes, it's a survival guide. It's about making a move so decisive, so impactful, it just completely changes your trajectory. It's like what Jeff Bezos talks about, right? Swinging for the fences, recognizing that in business, returns often follow that long-tail distribution. A few massive wins pay for everything else. A Grand Slam offer. That's exactly that kind of bold, high-leverage swing.
Wow, that backstory really grounds it, doesn't it? Takes it from business strategy to something much more raw and human. So, building on that, what's the core struggle, the almost universal friction that 100M offers is trying to resolve for entrepreneurs who are already deep in the game? Maybe they're even doing okay, but still feel that constant grind.
Well, the most profound thing Hormozi points out, and he calls it a brutal, ugly truth, is that for so many entrepreneurs, no matter how good their marketing or sales seem, the root problem almost always comes back to the offer itself. He learned this the hard way, hitting that low on Christmas Eve 2016. I mean, $1,036 in the bank, massive debt, personal tragedies piling up. That kind of crucible forces you to confront reality. The easy thing is to blame external factors or even yourself. But his big realization was that the offer, that's the absolute starting point of any transaction. It's what you give in exchange for money. Plain and simple. If that offer isn't powerful, isn't compelling, then everything else, your marketing spend, your sales pitches, your fulfillment efforts, it all becomes this massive uphill battle. You're basically pushing a boulder uphill when you could be writing it down.
So it's not just a piece of the puzzle. It's like the foundational piece. It dictates the effort needed everywhere else. That's a big reframe. Because often, we focus so much on tweaking the sales funnel or the ad copy. But if the offer is the real linchpin, what actually defines a Grand Slam offer? Is it just a really good deal or something more? Audacious.
Oh, it's way more audacious than just a good deal. Hormozi specifically calls it a Grand Slam offer, as a nod to Bezos, like we mentioned. That idea that massive returns come from these bold plays. And the core idea is surprisingly simple, yet profound. It takes no more effort to make a Grand Slam offer than to strike out. Think about that. The difference isn't the amount of effort, it's the skill, the strategic insight to connect your offer to what your audience deeply, desperately wants. This isn't about hitting singles or doubles. Yeah, those might keep the lights on for a while. This is about designing for a 1,000-fold payoff, the kind of win that genuinely leads to financial freedom. And look, Hormozi isn't just talking theory here. He backs it up. His own track record, a 36.1 lifetime return on ad spend. That's 3,600% over 8 years. He says he's personally hit these Grand Slams 4 or 5 times. So that sets the bar incredibly high for what's actually possible when you master this.
That's a powerful shift in thinking. Not just incremental, but truly exponential. And it brings us to what feels like an inescapable trap for so many entrepreneurs. Alex points out two core problems that plague businesses. Can you unpack those a bit? How do they set the stage for why a Grand Slam offer isn't just nice, but essential?
Right. The two core problems he identifies are felt almost universally. It's simple. 1, not enough clients. 2, not enough cash, meaning real excess profit. Now, these might look like separate issues, but they're actually deeply tangled. So many businesses get caught in this constant push-pull. They hustle hard to get more clients. But the cost and effort involved in getting those clients, it just eats away at the profit margin. So you solve one problem, maybe get more clients. But you make the other problem, profitability, worse.
Right, you're just trading one problem for another.
Exactly. You end up working harder, maybe growing revenue, but netting the same or even less. It's a nonlinear problem, so it needs a nonlinear solution.
Right.
And that's when the Grand Slam offer comes in. It has to break that traditional trade-off. It allows for both client growth and healthy profits. You don't have to sacrifice one for the other.
Okay, so it's about getting profitable clients.
Yeah.
And enough of them to really move a needle.
Yeah.
That leads right into the commodity problem. I think a lot of listeners will feel this one, that sense of being trapped in a race to the bottom. How does a Grand Slam offer fundamentally break that cycle? How does it let you differentiate in a real way, not just be another voice in a crowded market?
The commodity problem. That's the death spiral for so many businesses. Truly, a commodity, right? It's basically a product or service you can get from lots of places.
Yeah.
So what happens? Price becomes the main, often the only deciding factor. When your prospects look at all the options and think, they're all pretty much the same, they naturally just pick the cheapest one. Makes sense. And that forces businesses into this brutal race to the bottom. Margins get squeezed down to almost nothing, just enough to keep the lights on, as Hormozi puts it. It effectively turns business owners into, well, slaves to their own businesses. It's soul-crushing, unsustainable. A Grand Slam offer just completely sidesteps this whole mess. It lets you sell based on value, not price. It creates what he calls a category of one, or lets you sell in a vacuum.
Sell in a vacuum, I like that.
Yeah. The prospect isn't choosing between you and a competitor anymore. They're choosing between your unique solution and nothing. And this radical differentiation, it has a multiplicative effect. Hormozi gives this example with agency software. A Grand Slam offer got them 2.5 times more ad responses, then 2.5 times more closes and sales. And crucially, it allowed them to charge 4 times the price.
Wow.
Oh, you multiply those together. 2.5 by 2.5 by 4. That's 22.4 times more cash collected up front. Now, here's the kicker. The actual work, the fulfillment, it might be largely the same. But the perceived value of the offer leads to massively different results. Not just more revenue, but way more profitable revenue. It can literally transform a struggling business into something almost unbelievably successful.
It's a massive shift from price competition to value differentiation. But okay, before we even start crafting that offer, Alex spends a lot of time on market selection. He talks about finding a starving crowd. That sounds pretty primal. For those of us who feel like we're already pretty deep in this game, what's the real depth there? And why put market selection above even the offer itself or persuasion skills? That feels counterintuitive, right? Especially if you love your product.
It is primal because it taps directly into fundamental human needs, those deep desires. The starving crowd concept is simple, but man, is it powerful. Hormozi tells this story from a marketing professor about a hot dog stand. Imagine you have terrible hot dogs, sky-high prices, a horrible location, but you're the only hot dog stand right outside a stadium after a football game lets out.
You're going to sell out.
You're going to sell out, exactly. A more recent, vivid example. Think about the toilet paper shortage during early COVID. There was no offer, pricing was insane, zero sales pitch. Yet people were paying $100, maybe more, for a single roll. Why? Extreme demand. The core truth here is pretty stark. If there is a ton of demand for a solution, you can be mediocre at business, have a terrible offer, and have no ability to persuade people, and you can still make money. That's why market selection is king. It's the ultimate leverage point. Get the market right, and everything else gets dramatically easier.
That's a brutal truth, though. It's just even our best product, our best offer, can just fizzle out on the wrong market. I've definitely seen entrepreneurs, maybe myself included, sometimes just stubbornly banging their head against a wall when the market just wasn't there. Can you share an example of what happens when someone misses this, even if they're smart and have a good product?
Oh, absolutely. Hormozi tells this cautionary tale about a guy named Lloyd. Super smart entrepreneur, had excellent software for newspapers. His offer was fantastic, zero risk revenue share model for the papers. A really great deal, objectively. But Despite his skill, despite the strong offer, his business was just slowly dying. Why? Because the market itself, the newspaper industry, was shrinking by 25% every single year.
Wow, 25%.
Yeah. He was fighting this massive, inevitable tide. He tried tweaking the product, changing the marketing, but he was just too close to it, couldn't see the bigger picture. He didn't want to give up. But the really profound lesson comes next. When COVID hit, Lloyd pivoted. With zero experience in the field, he jumped into automated mask manufacturing. Suddenly, same smart guy, same entrepreneurial drive, but now in a starving market. Within 5 months, he was doing millions per month.
Incredible.
It wasn't because he magically became a better entrepreneur overnight. It was the market. This story just slams at home. Your market matters. We as entrepreneurs, we hate giving up, right? So we get blinded. But the reality is, no matter how good you are, your market has a massive impact. It's the ultimate external factor.
The Lloyd story is sobering. You can be brilliant, have a great product, but if the tide's going out on your market, yeah, you're swimming upstream constantly. It really makes you question that whole hustle harder mantra versus choose smarter. So if the market is that critical, what are the absolute must-haves? When we're looking for our own starving crowd, what's the checklist?
Hormozi lays out 4 critical indicators for picking the right market. First, massive pain. Your market can't just want your solution. They need to desperately need it. The level of their pain. That's directly proportional to the price you can charge. Like he says, the pain is the pitch. If you can articulate their pain better than they can, they'll feel understood and they'll naturally gravitate towards you. Second, purchasing power. Seems obvious, right? But it gets missed. He uses the example of a resume service for unemployed people. Great idea, massive pain point. But they have no money. Your audience has to be able to afford your solution at a price that's profitable for you.
Okay, makes sense.
Third, easy to target. Can you actually find these people efficiently? Can you communicate with them? Look for existing watering holes associations, mailing lists, Facebook groups, specific media they consume. Avoid trying to find needles in a haystack. And finally, fourth, growing. Is the market expanding? A growing market acts like a tailwind for your business. Everything gets easier. A declining market, that's a constant headwind. Business is hard enough, right? Pick a market that's working with you, not actively fighting against you.
That's a really practical framework. Pain, purchasing power, easy to target, and growing. A solid reality check. Now, finding a truly starving crowd sounds amazing, but realistically, many businesses operate in what you might call a normal market. Alex mentioned you can still make crazy money there, especially those big evergreen areas, health, wealth, relationships. But the temptation for many is to go broad, reach a bigger audience, even if it's less focused. Why does Alex insist so strongly on niching down, sometimes really aggressively, even for businesses that feel like they've already niched? Why not just expand the pond?
Yeah, this is where he gets almost fiery about it. He has this phrase, "Don't make me niche slap you."
Yeah.
He's emphasizing the absolute importance of commitment to a specific segment. Hopping from niche to niche when things get a bit tough. That just keeps resetting your learning curve. It often means you haven't truly mastered the market you're already in. He hammers home that the riches are truly in the niches. Why? Because you can often charge way more. He uses the figure 100 times more, potentially for essentially the same core product, just by making it hyper-relevant to a specific group. He uses Dan Kennedy's time management course as a perfect example. A generic time management course maybe sells for $19, okay? Niche it slightly. Time management for sales professionals. Now it's $99. Go deeper. Time management for B2B outbound sales reps. Maybe $499, but then get hyper-specific. Time management for B2B outbound power tools and guarding sales reps. Suddenly, that same core information tailored slightly can command $1,000, maybe $2,000.
Wow, just by adding that layer of specificity?
Exactly. The core principles haven't changed that much, but the prospect perceives it as made exactly for me. That perceived relevance skyrockets the value, justifying the much higher price. Hormozi practiced this relentlessly with Gym Launch. They focused only on microgym owners meeting specific criteria, about 100 members, signed lease, had an employee, focused on weight loss. They actively turned away personal trainers, online coaches, anyone who didn't fit that exact avatar. Why? To keep their product development laser focused and their marketing message incredibly high converting for that one group. For businesses doing under, say, $10 million a year, Hormozi is adamant. Niching down is almost always the better move. It's about serving fewer people, more narrowly, making your solution absolutely indispensable to them.
That 100x more principle is. It's mind-bending. It shifts everything from just delivering a service to delivering this ultra-specific solution that feels custom-made. Which brings us right to Alex's stance on pricing. It's often unapologetic, almost provocative, right? Suggesting we should charge so much it hurts. Now, my inner entrepreneur winces a bit at that. The instinct is often to be competitive, or at least fair, on price. But he argues it's not just about profit. He ties it to client success, to business longevity. Can you really unpack that? Because it feels like you're just inviting pushback charging that much.
It's a fundamental shift in how you even think about pricing. Hormozi tells his great story about his own father. When his dad found out he was charging $42,000 a year for his Gym Lords program, his dad was almost scared. He asked, Is it legal what you're doing? Do they know they're paying you that much?
Huh. That says a lot.
It really highlights how outsized returns can mess with our standard beliefs about value and money. The core idea here is the price-to-value discrepancy. People buy things when they believe the value they get is greater than the price they pay. Simple enough. But most entrepreneurs, when they want to increase that gap, they default to lowering the price. Hormozi argues that's a one-way road to destruction. He quotes the legendary marketer Dan Kennedy. There is no strategic benefit to being the second cheapest, but there is for being the most expensive.
Interesting.
The goal isn't just to arbitrarily hike prices, it's to raise your price, yes, but only after you've significantly increased the value you deliver. So much so that even at the higher price, it still feels like an absolute steal to the prospect. Like getting $100,000 worth of value for $10,000, you make the value so overwhelming, the price almost becomes secondary.
Okay, reframing pricing as value-driven, not a race to the bottom. That's definitely counterintuitive to a lot of standard business advice. And this idea you mentioned, the virtuous cycle of price, that sounds like it could be a total game changer for a business's whole trajectory. Can you break down how that cycle works, both the negative spiral and the positive one?
Yeah, the virtuous cycle of price is absolutely crucial. Hormozi really pushes entrepreneurs to internalize this because the market will constantly tempt you to lower prices. Let's look at the negative cycle first. When you decrease your price, what happens? Well, you also decrease your client's emotional investment. Didn't cost them much, right? That then lowers their perceived value of what you offer. There's this subconscious thought, it can't be that good if it's this cheap. This directly leads to worse client results because they're just less invested, less committed. Then you start attracting the worst clients, the bargain hunters, often the hardest to please. This crushes your margins. You have no money left to reinvest in a great experience, hire top talent, grow, or scale properly. Your world, your service. It just becomes sucky, as he puts it. It's a downward spiral where everyone loses.
Yeah, I can see that happening easily. Now flip that. The virtuous cycle. When you raise your prices, after raising value, remember, you immediately increase the client's emotional investment, and their perceived value goes up too. Because they're more invested, guess what? They engage more, they do the work, they get better results. This, in turn, attracts the best clients, the ones who value quality, are easier to work with, cost less to fulfill, and actually get and see the most value. This multiplies your margins. Now you can invest in better systems, hire smarter people, improve the customer experience, scale effectively, and crucially, it helps you avoid burnout, enjoy the process more, and ultimately help more people by building a sustainable, impactful business. It completely flips the script. Price becomes an accelerant for value delivery. It's fascinating. The idea that the price itself can directly influence perceived value, client investment, even their results, not just a number. It signifies something much deeper. And there's actual psychological research backing this up, right? This isn't just Hormozi's theory.
Exactly. He brings up that classic blind wine taste test. People were given the exact same wine, but told different prices. The wine labeled expensive, consistently rated as tasting better. The cheap labeled wine, rated poorly, same wine.
Crazy.
It shows that raising your prices can directly enhance the value you provide purely through perception. And the goal isn't just to be a little pricier. Hormozi advocates being so much higher than the market average that people stop and think, whoa, this is so much more expensive. There must be something completely different going on here. That's how you create that category of one and unlock those monopoly profits. Another key point is client investment, especially if your service requires their action. Higher prices create that initial sting, that feeling of, wow, I just spent a lot, I better pay attention. As he says, those who pay the most attention. And if your clients get better results because they're more invested due to the price, then you are, in a very real sense, providing more value than the cheaper alternative where they might fizzle out. Your higher price enables their success.
That's a bold strategy. It takes real conviction to pull that off, especially charging way more than competitors. How did Hormozi actually apply this with Gym Launch? He was entering an existing competitive market, right?
Right. In the gym consulting space back then, most competitors were charging maybe $500 a month. There was one higher-priced player around $5,000. Hormozi deliberately chose to be the premium leader. Not just a bit more expensive, radically so. His initial offer, $16,000 for a 16-week intensive.
$16,000 compared to $500 a month.
Yep, that's 3 times the highest competitor and a staggering 32 times more than the lowest guys. And get this, they then upsold 35% of those clients into a 3-year agreement at $42,000 per year.
$42,000 a year.
Keep in mind, the average gym owner back then was making maybe $35,000 a year in take-home profit. So many clients were committing half their annual income or more up front. How was that possible? He says it boiled down to, my conviction was stronger than their skepticism. But that conviction wasn't just hot air. It was built on a product that delivered undeniable, insane results. Their average client saw improvements like an extra $239,000 a year in revenue, $160,000 more in recurring revenue, a 3.1x jump in profit, and added an average of 67 new clients. So when you deliver that kind of outsized value, the higher price isn't just justified. It starts to look like a bargain relative to the gains.
That gym launch example really drives it home. Conviction, backed by results, makes premium pricing not just possible, but logical. But okay, how do we systematically create that kind of overwhelming value? How do we quantify it? Alex introduces the value equation. He presents it as a repeatable formula, structured as a division, not addition. Can you break that down? Why is the division structure so critical?
The value equation. Once you see this, honestly, it changes how you look at every product, every service out there. It's that fundamental. The equation is dream outcome, perceived time delay, perceived effort and sacrifice. The division structure is absolutely key because of what Hormozi calls the infinity principle. If you can drive either the perceived time delay or the perceived effort and sacrifice, the stuff on the bottom, down towards 0, theoretically, the value approaches infinity.
Because you're dividing by 0. Is that
Exactly. Anything divided by a number approaching 0 becomes infinitely large. Imagine buying a weight loss product, clicking a button, and instantly having a six-pack. Or hiring a marketing agency and your phone immediately starts ringing off the hook with perfect leads. The value is limitless because the time and effort involved are effectively 0. This sets this huge aspirational goal for us as entrepreneurs. Constantly innovate to simplify, accelerate, and reduce the burden on the client.
striving for infinite value by minimizing time and effort. That's a powerful lens. And it brings up a crucial point. It's not just about the actual time or effort, but the perceived time and effort, right? So perception can trump reality here. Can you give an example of how perception plays such a huge role, maybe more than just the raw metrics?
Oh, absolutely. Perception is often way more powerful than objective reality in this equation. Hormozi uses the great example of the London Underground tunnels. They wanted to improve rider satisfaction, which is basically perceived value. They could have spent billions making the trains marginally faster. A logical solution. But the biggest jump in satisfaction came from something much simpler, much cheaper. Installing those dotted maps showing the real-time arrival of the next train.
Yeah, I've seen those.
Right. That simple map, costing only a few million, dramatically reduced the perceived time delay and the perceived sacrifice of just standing there, bored and uncertain. It's a classic case of a psychological solution over a logical one. Logical fixes are often expensive, maybe already tried. We as entrepreneurs need to look for those psychological levers, like putting mirrors in elevators. Doesn't make the elevator faster, logical, but distracts people from the wait, psychological, reducing perceived time delay. It's about understanding human nature.
That London tunnel example is brilliant. Perception is reality when it comes to value. So let's break down the equations for drivers. First up is the dream outcome. The goal is to increase this. Alex says we don't create desire, we channel it. How do we effectively tap into those deep existing human desires?
Right, the dream outcome is top of the equation, so making it bigger increases value. People aren't buying your drill, they're buying the whole or maybe the feeling of accomplishment from hanging the picture. They're buying a transformation and escape to a desired future state. Our job isn't to create desire out of thin air, it's to tap into and channel those deep, often unchanging human drives. The desire to be seen as beautiful, to gain respect, to feel powerful, to find love, to increase their status. These are primal. Hormozi really emphasizes status as a key, often underestimated driver. He tells Russell Brunson's story about his wife and the minivan. She initially rejected the idea she was driven by status, saying she preferred her minivan to a flashy Lamborghini. But as they talked more, it came out that driving the minivan actually increased her status among her specific group, other moms. A Lamborghini would have alienated her, decreased her status in that context. So status isn't always about luxury cars or big houses. It's about perceived standing within your relevant social group. The pro tip here: frame your benefits in terms of status gained in the eyes of others. Don't just say your golf club adds 20 yards to their drive. Say, making your friends' jaws drop when your ball sails past theirs. Connect it to social perception.
That's a fantastic point about status being context dependent. It's not universal. It's about the specific group. Okay, next driver to increase. Perceived likelihood of achievement. People pay for certainty, for confidence it will work for them. How do we build that rock-solid belief, especially if they've tried and failed before?
Certainty is huge. People hate risk. They crave predictability. Think about it. Would you rather be a plastic surgeon's 10,000th patient or their very first?
10,000, please.
Right. You'd pay a lot more for the surgeon with the proven track record. Even if the surgery itself takes the same amount of time, that perceived likelihood of a great outcome is way higher. So to increase value, we need to relentlessly communicate that certainty. Through our messaging, yes, but more importantly, through overwhelming proof. Testimonials, case studies, clear track records, data, and especially strong guarantees. We'll get more into guarantees later, but they're critical here. All these things build conviction in the prospect's mind that, okay, this isn't just hype. This actually works, and it can work for me.
Makes sense. Build that bridge of trust with proof. Now, the denominator, time delay. We want to decrease this. In our instant gratification world, why is speed so valuable? And how do we balance delivering the big long-term outcome with giving people those quick wins along the way?
Time delay is simply the gap between when someone pays and when they get the benefit, or at least a significant part of it. The shorter that gap, the higher the value, period. Now, Hormozi makes a key distinction. Clients buy the long-term dream outcome. That's the ultimate motivator, the bikini body, the million-dollar business.
Yeah.
But they stay long enough to achieve it because of the short-term experience and those crucial early milestones. Think back to gym launch. Clients bought the dream of adding 239Ks a year, which obviously takes time. So to decrease the initial time delay, Hormozi focused intensely on getting their clients ads live and generating their first $2,000 sale within just 7 days.
Wow, it's fast.
Super fast. That immediate win creates massive momentum, builds trust, proves the system works quickly, and keeps them engaged for the longer journey. It shows them they're on the right path right away. The pro tip here is fast beats free. People consistently pay for speed, even when a free, slower alternative exists. Think FedEx versus standard mail, Uber versus walking, private MVD services versus waiting at the government office. Speed itself is a form of value people willingly pay a premium for.
Okay, so engineer quick wins to bridge the gap to the long-term dream. Got it. And the final piece of the denominator, effort and sacrifice. We also want to decrease this. This covers all those hidden costs, right? The hassle factor, the mental load. How do we strategically minimize these perceived hurdles so the offer feels easy, almost effortless?
Exactly. Effort and sacrifice includes all those other costs, tangible and intangible, that a client anticipates enduring. Hormozi uses the stark contrast between fitness and liposuction. Both offer a similar dream outcome: look better, lose fat. But the perceived effort and sacrifice for fitness, it's huge. Countless hours sweating in the gym, strict dieting, the pain of discipline. Compare that to liposuction. Yeah, there's cost and recovery, but the perceived effort to achieve the outcome is vastly lower, and plastic surgeons market this directly, hitting those pain points. Tired of wasting hours in the gym, tried every diet. They sell the reduction in effort. Anything you can do to decrease the client's perceived effort or sacrifice dramatically boosts your offer's appeal. This is why done-for-you services command higher prices than do-it-yourself or even do-it-with you. They minimize the client's effort and often increase the perceived likelihood of success too, because an expert is handling it. Less work for them equals more value.
So putting these four drivers together, increasing dream outcome and likelihood, while decreasing time delay and effort sacrifice, it really does feel like a cheat code for understanding what makes people pick, what makes them buy. It seems Alex is basically saying meet people where they are psychologically, not where you think they should be. My inner idealist wants to argue for what should be valued, but, well, the results seem to speak for themselves. It's that right versus rich thing again. Can you give us one more really powerful everyday example that just nails this whole value equation, something that cements that right versus rich idea?
Absolutely. Hormozi uses a brilliant direct comparison, meditation versus Xanax. Both offer the identical dream outcome: relaxation, decreased anxiety, feelings of well-being. Let's rate them on the 4 drivers: 0 for low, 1 for high. Dream outcome. Both get a 1. They aim for the same positive state. Perceived likelihood. Xanax is a 1. Take the pill. Effect is almost guaranteed. Meditation. It's a 0. Requires skill, consistency, results vary wildly, takes practice. Time delay. Xanax is a 1. Effects in minutes. Meditation. It's a 0. Weeks, months, maybe years of practice for deep, consistent results. Effort and sacrifice. Xanax is a 1 fit. Swallow a pill. That's it. Meditation. It's a 0. Requires dedicated time, mental discipline, pushing through discomfort.
So Xanax scores 1 + 1 + 1 + 1 and 4, 4. Meditation is 1 + 0 + 0 + 0 + 1.
Exactly. Total perceived value for Xanax is 4 times higher than for meditation, according to this framework. And that's precisely why Xanax is a multi-billion-dollar product, while you don't see many or any multi-billion-dollar meditation businesses. Same logic applies to supplements versus health clubs. The supplement industry, 123B, is twice the size of the health club industry, 62B. Why? Similar dream outcomes: health, weight loss. But pills and shakes have much lower perceived effort and time delay than daily gym workouts. This framework isn't about judging what's better morally or objectively. It's about understanding what people perceive as valuable and are willing to pay for. Like Hormozi says, blunt but true, you can either be right or you can be rich. This book is for getting rich. The idea is to use this understanding of human nature to build profitable businesses and then use those profits to make the impact you want to make in the world. It's pragmatic.
That right versus rich
Yeah.
framing is, it's potent and kind of liberating, actually. Okay, so we've got psychology, the value drivers. Now let's get into the mechanics. How do we actually build the Grand Slam offer? Alex stresses divergent thinking over convergent. How does he guide us from just identifying problems to creating something truly irresistible, pushing past our usual ways of thinking?
Right. This is where the rubber meets the road. Translating theory into a tangible offer. First, he makes this key distinction between convergent thinking, finding the one right answer, like 2 + 2 = 4, and divergent thinking, generating multiple possible solutions to a single problem. Most of us are trained in convergent thinking, but entrepreneurship, like life, rewards divergent thinking. He uses the brick exercise to illustrate. List all the uses for a brick. Most people list a few obvious ones: build a wall, hold a door open.
Yeah.
But if you push yourself, start changing variables. What if it's tiny, made of glass, hollow? Suddenly you can generate dozens, hundreds of uses. That's divergent thinking. It primes your mind for offer creation, getting beyond the obvious. Then he gives a clear step-by-step process. Step #1, identify the dream outcome. Crystal clear. Forget your product for a second. What's the ultimate transformation they crave? His example: a gym owner struggling to sell 99-month memberships. The dream outcome isn't the membership, it's lose 20 pounds in 6 weeks. Sell the destination, the feeling of looking great on vacation, not just the vehicle, the plane ticket. Step #2, list all problems. This needs insane detail. Think micro. What happens right before they use your thing? What happens right after? What are all the little roadblocks, frustrations, limiting beliefs? He suggests applying the 4 value drivers here too. Buying healthy food is confusing. That's effort sacrifice. It takes too much time, time delay. It's expensive, hits dream outcome financial value. I worry it won't work for me. Likelihood of achievement. You want an exhaustive list. He mentions Brooke Castillo doing this for a relationship course, showing it works across niches. The goal is to identify every single obstacle, real or perceived. Step #3, solutions list. This is beautifully simple. Take every problem you listed and just flip it into a solution statement. Problem: buying healthy food takes too much time becomes solution: how to buy healthy food quickly. Doing this creates a comprehensive blueprint of everything your offer needs to solve.
That's really systematic. Problem, then flip it to a solution statement. Creates a clear checklist. But then, how do we turn those solution statements into actual deliverables? The how. Especially aiming for that wow, all that. Seriously, yes. Reaction. How do we package it all?
That's step #4. Create solutions delivery vehicles, the how. This is where the divergent thinking really comes in. You brainstorm everything you could possibly do to deliver on each solution statement. Go wild. Even if you think, I'd never do that, list it anyway. It stretches your thinking. Hormozi provides these product delivery cheat codes, prompts to spark ideas. Think about the level of personal attention. One-on-one, small group. One-to-many. The level of client effort. Do it themselves, DIY. Do it with them, DWY. Done for them, DFY. The medium environment. In person, phone, email, Zoom, app. The consumption format. Audio, video, written guide, checklist, software. Reply speed hours. 24/7 support. business hours, within 1 hour. He even includes the 10x to 110th test. Imagine they paid 10 times more. What else would you offer? Imagine they paid 110th. How could you still make them successful? Maybe through automation or templates. It forces creative constraints. He tells this great anecdote about a gym client who refused to cook, only ate out. Instead of losing the sale, Hormozi created a custom eating out guide just for her. That one solution closed the deal, and then became a valuable asset for all future clients facing the same issue. A high-value, low ongoing cost solution. He emphasizes creating things like that Excel tool he built for meal plans. Took 100 hours up front, but then generated personalized plans in 15 minutes each. Massive value delivery, low variable cost.
Okay, so after that big brainstorm, you'd have this huge, maybe messy list of potential deliverables for every problem, which leads to step #5, trim and stack. How do you filter that down? How do you assemble it into a coherent, profitable, irresistible offer without just throwing everything in and overwhelming people?
Exactly. You'll have this giant menu of possibilities from step 4, step #5. Trim and stack is about curation. You filter everything through 2 lenses: cost to my business to deliver this versus value this provides to the client. First, ruthlessly cut things that are high cost for you but low value for them. Those are just resource drains. Then look at the low cost, low value stuff. Can it be improved to add more value? If not, cut it too. Keep lean, the sweet spot. Things that are low cost for you, but high perceived value for the client, especially those one-to-many solutions like templates, guides, software tools, recorded trainings. Maximize those. If something is high cost, but also incredibly high value and maybe essential, keep it, but make sure you price the whole offer accordingly to cover it, ensuring it's still a phenomenal deal for the client overall. The goal is the biggest possible gap between your cost and their perceived value. He then shows how to stack these chosen solutions into the final offer. Instead of just gym membership, he reconstructs a fitness offer as a bundle. The foolproof bargain grocery system solves cost confusion. The ready in 5 minutes busy parent cooking guide solves time. Your personalized lick your fingers good meal plan solves taste results. Fat burning workouts you can do anywhere solves time location. The ultimate tone up while you travel blueprint solves consistency. Our never fall off accountability system solves motivation. The live it up while slimming down eating out system solves social life.
See how specific those are, addressing each pain point.
Exactly. And when you bundle all that, you assign a perceived value to each piece, maybe totaling $4,351. Then you offer the whole stack for, say, $599. The perceived value just dwarfs the price. It makes a simple gym membership look completely inadequate. It becomes a category of one, irresistible, because you've systematically solved every perceived problem and communicated overwhelming value.
Okay, wow. That process problem list, solution list, brainstorm delivery, trim and stack, that really builds the core value.
Yeah.
But then Alex takes it further. He talks about enhancing the offer with psychological levers. Not manipulation, he stresses, but aligning human behavior with the value. Compelling action. How do things like scarcity, urgency, bonuses, and guarantees turn that already great offer into something people feel they must have right now?
Right. This is about amplifying desire and reducing friction at the point of decision. It's a delicate dance of desire, as he calls it. He kicks off this section with an amazing story about an Arnold Schwarzenegger fundraiser. Tickets were $25,000 each, limited to 100 people. They raised $5.4 million. The key advice Arnold got from a jewelry mogul named George: when demand increases, cut supply. Boom. That illustrates how these enhancers work, even at the highest levels. Hormozi introduces what he calls Hormozi's law. The longer you strategically delay the ask, building desire, the bigger the ask you can ultimately make. Desire fundamentally comes from not getting what you want immediately. If you satisfy all demand instantly, paradoxically, you can kill desire. By keeping supply just slightly under demand, you maximize profit and keep that desire ravenous. He also talks about demand being fractal, like the 80-20 rule. Maybe 15th of your prospects would happily pay 5 times your normal price. By selling fewer units to these high-paying clients, you actually increase the desire in the rest of the market, making them more eager and willing to pay more next time. It's strategic supply management.
It's counterintuitive but powerful. Increase value by limiting access strategically. Okay, let's break down the enhancers. First, scarcity, quantity-based FOMO. How do we use this ethically, especially for services, without sounding fake?
Scarcity is about having a fixed number of spots or items available. Creates that fear of missing out. Hormozi suggests several ethical ways. For physical products, limited releases. Think limited edition sneakers, seasonal flavors. Always aim to sell out and then announce it. Chanel is a master, sending only 1 or 2 of an item to a store creates instant rarity. For services, which can feel infinite. 1, total business caps. We only work with X clients total in this premium program. Once full, start a wait list. It signals exclusivity and demand. 2, growth rate caps. We only onboard 5 new clients per week to ensure quality. This communicates your legitimate capacity and implies high standards. 3. Cohort caps. Our next mastermind cohort starts Monday and is limited to 20 spots. This uses natural start dates as cutoffs, the most ethical type. Honest scarcity, just state your real capacity. We're currently at 81% capacity for this service. It's truthful, creates urgency, and implies social proof. He also suggests extreme scarcity, offering maybe just 1 or 2 spots for ultra-high-priced, intensive one-on-one access, quick profit injection, maximum exclusivity.
Okay, those make sense. Real limitations communicated clearly. Next, urgency, time-based deadlines, drive, decisions. We all feel that pressure. How do we implement deadlines effectively and ethically without just annoying people?
Urgency is all about when someone can get the offer or specific parts of it. Hormozi loves these 4 ethical methods. 1. Cohort-based rolling urgency. If you start clients in groups, every Monday, you can honestly say sign up by Friday to join the group starting Monday, otherwise you'll have to wait for the next intake. Creates a natural, real deadline. 2. Rolling seasonal urgency, especially great for local businesses. Don't just run the same ad forever. Our Spring into Fitness promo ends May 31st. Next up, our Summer Shred Special. The promotion changes, creating frequent, genuine deadlines, even if the core service is similar. Keeps marketing fresh. For digital, countdown timers work, but only if they're real. 3. Pricing or bonus-based urgency. This special launch price or bonus bundle is only guaranteed until Friday. The core offer remains, but the incentive expires. Maintains integrity. 4. Exploding opportunity. If there's a real market arbitrage or a window of opportunity that's closing, highlight that. Act now before this market condition changes. Makes the urgency about their potential gain or loss. The absolute key, though, deadlines must be real. If you say it ends Friday, it ends Friday. Break that trust once and your urgency tactics lose all power. And that 50-60% of sales happening in the last few hours, that's real human psychology at work. Deadlines force decisions.
That commitment to real deadlines is crucial for credibility. Got it. Then we have bonuses. The classic, but wait, there's more. How do bonuses really work to expand that value gap? Beyond just adding more stuff, how do we make them truly enhance the offer?
Bonuses are psychologically powerful because, as Hormozi states, a single offer is less valuable than the same offer broken into its component parts and stacked as bonuses. It's the infomercial magic. You anchor the prospect's mind to the price of the core offer. Then, each bonus you reveal adds another layer of perceived value, making the gap between total value and price seem bigger and bigger until it feels almost foolish not to buy. Crucially, he advises adding bonuses instead of discounting the core offer. Discounting can subtly devalue the main thing. Bonuses enhance it.
Okay, add value, don't discount it.
Right, and how you present bonuses matters hugely. Give each bonus a compelling, benefit-driven name. Explain clearly how it solves a specific problem for them. Tell a quick story how you discovered or created it. Detail how it makes their life better. Faster results, easier process, less effort. Offer proof if you can. Example, this checklist saved clients X hours. Paint a vivid picture of them using it. Assign a believable price tag to it and justify it briefly anchors its worth. Remember, tools, checklists, templates are often perceived as more valuable than just more training because they reduce effort and time, hitting the value equation. Good bonuses often address the next problem someone will face after implementing your core solution, or overcome a specific fear or objection. And the total stated value of all the bonuses should ideally eclipse the price of the core offer. It makes the core offer feel like a steal. He also includes an advanced tip, using other people's products and services as bonuses. Negotiate with complementary businesses to offer their services, like a free massage, a software trial, to your clients in exchange for exposure. Even better, negotiate affiliate commissions on those referrals. Your bonuses can become revenue streams.
Okay, that's a deep dive on bonuses. Very strategic. Now, guarantees. You said earlier, risk is the silent killer. Alex argues for obliterating it. But this feels like the scariest one for many business owners. It feels like opening the door to refunds, attracting tire kickers. What's the real strategic thinking here? How do you offer bold guarantees without sinking the ship?
Look, the single greatest objection people have is risk. Fear. Fear of wasting money, fear it won't work for them, fear of looking stupid. If you can reverse or obliterate that risk, your offer instantly becomes dramatically more attractive. Hormozi cites marketer Jason Fladlane seeing conversions jump 2x to 4x just by improving his guarantee. It's that impactful. The strategic calculus. It's math, not emotion. Let's say a bold guarantee doubles your refund rate maybe from 5% to 10%. Okay, sounds bad. But what if that same guarantee increases your sales by 130%? Do the math. Your net sales, even after more refunds, are still up 23%.
Okay. The overall gain outweighs the increased refunds.
Almost always, yes. Don't be emotional, just do the math. The boost in conversions usually far surpasses the cost of refunds, leading to significantly higher net profit. Now, the caveat, Hormozi does warn that people who buy only for the guarantee can sometimes be shitty customers, less invested, less likely to do the work. That's why conditional guarantees are often smarter. He outlines 4 main types. 1, unconditional. Basically, try it. If you don't like it for any reason, get your money back. Highest sales potential, but also highest refund risk. Jason Fladlien has a great script for this. I'm not asking you to decide yes or no today. Make that decision on the inside. 2, conditional. Get X result if you do Y and Z. These are often better than money back because they tie the guarantee to client action. Hormozi used one. Get $500 worth of value. If not, I'll write you a check, provided they followed the program steps. This filters out non-action takers. 3, anti-guarantee. Explicitly stating all sales are final. This needs a very strong reason why, usually involving access to highly valuable proprietary information or intellectual property. We're revealing our entire business blueprint, so naturally all sales must be final. It conveys extreme value and exclusivity. 4, implied guarantees. Performance-based models. Paper result, revenue share, profit share. You only get paid if they get results. Perfect alignment, but tracking and collection can be complex. You can also stack guarantees. Maybe an unconditional 30-day money back, plus a conditional performance guarantee later on. This future paces the prospect, showing confidence at multiple stages. And think creatively about the guarantee itself. An outsized refund, double your money back, or a service guarantee. We'll work for free until you hit X result, Hormozi's favorite for high-margin offers.
That's a comprehensive look at guarantees. Much more strategic than just money back. Okay, finally, the last enhancer. Naming. The wrapper for the offer. We've built value, added scarcity, urgency, bonuses, guarantees. Does the name really matter that much at this point?
It matters hugely. Think of it as the headline for your entire value stack. Offer fatigue is a real thing, especially in local markets. People see the same 6-week challenge year after year. Renaming allows you to refresh the offer, make it sound new and exciting without changing the core components that are working. You just change the wrapping paper. Hormozi provides the MAGIC formula for naming offers using 3D5 components for impact. Magnetic reason why. Why this offer now? e.g. free, grand opening, spring reset, client appreciation. Use context, avatar. Call it exactly who it's for, e.g. busy Austin moms, SaaS founders under 1LM, retiring chiropractors. Specificity creates resonance. Goal. The dream outcome, e.g. pain-free back, 7-figure exit, automated lead flow, make it tangible, desirable. Interval. The time frame for results, e.g. in 6 weeks, by 90 days, in 21 days, sets expectations. Container word. Frames it as a complete system, e.g. challenge, blueprint, accelerator, masterclass system, adds perceived structure.
So you might combine those like the 6-week SaaS founder lead flow accelerator.
Exactly. Or the busy Austin mom's free 21-day energy reset. It instantly communicates who it's for, the goal, the time frame, and the reason. Pro tips. Use rhyme or alliteration if it fits naturally. 6-pack fast track. Makes it stickier. And when an offer starts to fatigue, don't change the core offer first. Change the creative, images, video, then the body copy, then the headline name wrapper, maybe tweak the duration or enhancers, only change the actual monetization structure as a last resort. Use your entrepreneurial ADD on the wrapper, not the core offer that works. Half-assing the name can genuinely kill conversions, a great name, reflecting the magic formula. It can double, triple, even 10x your response rate. It's the first impression.
Wow, okay, this whole journey, from market selection through value creation to these psychological enhancers, it really provides a complete blueprint. This deep dive into 100 AM offers has been incredibly sharpening, moving beyond the usual advice into what's really possible when you master the offer. We've seen how one single, brilliantly crafted offer can change everything for a business, for an entrepreneur. As we wrap up this exploration, what's the single most crucial takeaway you hope listeners carry forward? A thought to really sit with, to provoke deeper inquiry on their own path.
I think the most crucial takeaway is understanding this. Entrepreneurship isn't just about ideas or luck. It's fundamentally about acquiring specific skills, cultivating empowering beliefs, and forging resilient character traits. This deep dive, this book, specifically gives you the skill, the blueprint to build a valuable, high-margin, decommoditized Grand Slam offer. Remember Hormozi's own story, going from 1,036 stub killer in the bank, facing utter ruin, to finally hitting $100,000 in his personal account, not revenue, not company profit, but his. He said the feeling wasn't euphoria or happiness, it was profound relief, the feeling of escaping constant fear and finding security. And he got there through a Grand Slam offer, a credit card to fund the ads, and unwavering belief. So here's the provocation I'd leave you with, directly from Hormozi. If you try 100 offers, I promise you will succeed. Most people, they never even try one real offer. Others try, fail once, and give up completely. Success requires resilience. It requires iteration. Stop personalizing the failures. It's not about you. If your offer bombs, it doesn't mean you suck. It means your offer sucks. Big difference. You only suck if you stop trying. So try again and again. Treat it like a scientist testing hypotheses. Gather data, learn, adjust, test again. Blame the strategy, not yourself. That mindset shift, that's everything.
That is a powerful call to action and a truly liberating way to approach it. Focus on the skill, the process, the iteration, not personal failure. Thank you for guiding us through this dense, powerful material with such clarity. To everyone listening, we hope you take these insights, apply them with conviction, and start crafting offers that truly move the needle. Make your next one undeniable. This is just the beginning. Our next deep dive will build right on this, exploring Hormozi's 100-meter lead generation, how to actually get customers, potentially at a profit from day one. The promise, you should never have to pay for a new customer again. Until then, keep refining those offers, keep testing, and keep swinging for the fences.